life. It is fascinating how we walk around carrying these invisible IOs, is not it? We carry them in our hearts and our minds, expecting the world to cash them in. But let me share something profound with you today, something that might just change your entire perspective on life. Nobody owes you anything. Let that sink in for a moment. Feel the weight of those words. At first, they might feel heavy, perhaps even harsh. But within this truth lies the most liberating realization you'll ever experience. I spent years studying human behavior, watching how people navigate through life's challenges, and there is this recurring pattern I've observed. We're all walking around with these mental ledgers. We think our parents owe us a perfect childhood. We think our spouse owes us happiness. We think our boss owes us recognition. We think life owes us success, comfort, and endless opportunities. But here is the beautiful truth. When you finally understand that nobody owes you anything, you become the master of your own destiny. You become free. Think about a small child learning to walk. Does that child believe the floor owes them stability? Does that child believe gravity owes them mercy? No. That child simply gets up, falls down, gets up again, falls again, and keeps going until walking becomes as natural as breathing. You know what's remarkable about this? A child never once stops to complain about fairness. They never say, well, my friend started walking last week, so I should be walking too. They simply persist, driven by an inner desire to grow, to evolve. I want you to imagine for a moment that you're standing in front of a magnificent garden. Now, this garden can be anything you want it to be. It can burst with vibrant flowers, yield delicious vegetables, or showcase rare exotic plants. But here's the critical question. Does this garden owe you its beauty? Does it owe you its fruit? Of course not. The garden will only give you what you nurture. You must till the soil, plant the seeds, water them regularly, protect them from weeds, and provide them with sunlight. The garden does not owe you any. It simply responds to what you give it. Your life is exactly like this garden. Your relationships, your career, your health, your happiness, they're all seeds waiting to be nurtured. They do not owe you their fruit. They simply respond to your investment, your care, your dedication. Let me share something personal with you. Years ago, I was sitting in my study feeling frustrated because my work wasn't reaching as many people as I hoped it would. I felt the world owed me recognition for all the wisdom I was trying to share. Then, in a moment of clarity, I realized something profound. The world did not owe me an audience. Instead, I owed it to myself to become better at sharing my message. I owed it to myself to grow, to learn, to evolve. That is when everything changed, when I stopped expecting and started investing. Doors began to open, not because the world owed me anything, but because I had finally aligned myself with one of life's most fundamental truths. We get what we give. Some of you might be thinking, but what about basic human rights? What about common decency? Do not people owe us at least that? And yes, we live in a society with certain agreed upon standards of behavior, but even these aren't guarantees. They're ideals we strive for, principles we up. Think about the last time someone was rude to you in traffic. Did they owe you courtesy? Perhaps in an ideal world. But in reality, your peace of mind in that moment wasn't something they owed you. It was something you could choose to maintain regardless of their behavior. This is where true power lies. When you understand that nobody owes you anything, you stop being a victim of circumstances and start being a creator of circumstances. Talk about success for a moment. Many people believe that if they work hard, success should naturally follow. They believe that if they put in the hours, if they do everything right, the world owes them success. But look at any truly successful person. They never operated from this mindset. Take the Wright brothers, for instance. Did the sky owe them the secret of flight? Did physics owe them the perfect design? No. They experimented, failed, adjusted, and tried again. They understood that innovation wasn't something the world owed them. It was something they had to wrestle from the grip of impossibility through persistence and creativity. Or consider Helen Keller. Did the world owe her a way to communicate? Did it owe her an education? No. Yet through her determination and the dedication of those around her, she became one of the most influential figures of her time. She did not wait for the world to accommodate her. She found ways to engage with it on her own terms. Here's another powerful truth. When you release the world from owing you anything, you also release yourself from the burden of bitter expectations. Think about that for a moment. How much of your daily stress comes from unmet expectations? How much of your disappointment stems from thinking someone or something should have been different? I want you to try something right now. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, release all the US you've been carrying. Release the expectation that your partner should always understand you. Release the belief that your children should always appreciate your sacrifice. Release the idea that your company should recognize your every contribution. Feel that lightness. That is freedom. But remember, this freedom comes with responsibility. If nobody owes you anything, then everything you achieve, everything you become is up to you. This is not a burden. It is an opportunity. It is your chance to write your own story, to create your own. Let me share another perspective with you. Have you ever noticed how the most grateful people are often the most successful? Not necessarily in terms of material wealth, but in terms of life satisfaction, in terms of impact, in terms of personal fulfillment. Why do you think that is? It is because grateful people operate from a fundamentally different paradigm. They do not walk through life with a sense of entitlement. They do not carry a list of what the world owes them. Instead, they move through life with a sense of appreciation for what is and excitement for what could be. Think about the sun rising every morning. Do we demand it? Do we feel entitled to it? No. We simply appreciate its warmth, its light, its life-giving energy. And in that appreciation, we find joy, we find inspiration. We find motivation to make the most of each day we're given. The same principle applies to every aspect of your life. Your job does not owe you fulfillment. You create fulfillment through how you approach your work. Your relationships do not owe you happiness. You create happiness through how you engage with others. Your body does not owe you health. You create health through how you care for yourself. Some of you might be facing challenging circumstances right now. You might be dealing with loss, with disappointment, with setbacks that feel insurmountable. And you might be thinking, this is all well and good, but my situation is different. I deserve better than this. And you know what? You might be right. You might deserve better. But here is the crucial distinction. Deserving something and being owed something are two very different things. The universe does not operate on a system of deserving. It operates on a system of cause and effect, of action and reaction, of giving and receiving. This brings me to another vital point. When you truly embrace the idea that nobody owes you anything, you become more resourceful. You stop waiting for someone to hand you opportunities and start creating them. You stop waiting for permission to be happy and start generating your own joy. And you stop waiting for the perfect conditions and start working with what you have. Look at nature. Does a seed wait for perfect conditions before it starts to grow? No. It works with whatever soil it finds itself in, whatever amount of water it receives, whatever sunlight manages to reach it. And somehow, against all odds, it grows, it becomes what it was meant to become. You are no different. You have within you everything you need to grow, to thrive, to become what you were meant to become. But just like that seed, you have to stop waiting for perfect conditions and start working with what you have. This mindset shift from expectation to appreciation, from entitlement to empowerment, this is where true transformation begins. This is where you start to see opportunities instead of obstacles, possibilities instead of problems. Think about the most inspiring people you know. The ones who've overcome significant challenges, who've achieved remarkable things, who've made a real difference in the world. I bet none of them got where they are by focusing on what they were owed. They got there by focusing on what they could give, what they could create, what they could become. We draw this conversation to a close. I want to leave you with this thought. The moment you truly accept that nobody owes you anything is the moment you take complete ownership of your life. It is the moment you step into your power. It is the moment you begin to create rather than wait, to act rather than react, to lead rather than follow. Remember this truth? That nobody owes you anything. It is not a limitation. It is a liberation. It is not a constraint on what you can achieve. It is the key to achieving everything you're capable of. Starting right now, release all those invisible bios you have been carrying. Release the weight of unmet expectations. Release the burden of waiting for what you think you're owed. Instead, ask yourself these questions. What can I give? What can I create? What can I become? Because when you stop focusing on what you're owed and start focusing on what you can contribute, that is when magic happens. That is when doors open. That is when life transforms from a series of disappointments into a journey of discovery. The world does not owe you anything, and in that truth lies your greatest power, the power to create everything you want in life. The power is yours. The choice is yours. The time is now. Sharing this moment with me. Now go forth and create the life you want to live, not because anyone owes it to you, but because you have the power to create it for yourself. You know, I am reminded of the ocean waves. Have you ever stood at the beach watching them roll in endlessly? Each wave comes forth, gives everything it has to the shore, and then retreats, asking nothing in return. It does not demand recognition for its power, does not expect gratitude for the shells it delivers, does not wait for applause for its majestic display. There is profound wisdom in this natural rhythm. Like the waves, we are meant to give of ourselves fully, without attachment to recognition or reward. When we do this, something miraculous happens. We tap into an infinite source of energy and I remember meeting a janitor at a local school years ago. Every evening, when everyone else had gone home, he would polish those floors until they gleamed like mirrors. One day I asked him why he put so much effort into a job that few people would notice or appreciate. His response touched my soul. He said, "I do not do it for recognition. I do it because excellence is not what I do. It is who I am." This wise man understood something that many of us miss. He knew that excellence is not something the world owes us recognition for. It is something we owe ourselves. It is our personal signature on the work we do, the lives we touch, the moments we create. Consider the mighty oak tree. Does it demand acknowledgement for providing shade? Does it request payment for the oxygen it produces? Does it seek approval for its strength and beauty? No. The oak tree simply is. It grows tall, spreads its branches, drops its acorns, and in doing so fulfills its purpose without expectation. I want you to think about your talents for a moment. Those unique gifts you have been blessed with, they weren't given to you as a debt to be repaid. They were given as tools for creation, as instruments for service, as means for expression. The world does not owe you recognition for these gifts. Instead, you owe it to yourself to express them fully. You know what fascinates me? The way fireflies light up the summer night. They do not wait for someone to appreciate their glow. They do not dim their light if no one's watching. They simply shine because that is their nature. That is their truth. That is their gift to the world. What if we approached our lives like fireflies? What if we shared our light not because someone owes us attention, but because illuminating the darkness is simply who we are? What if we understood that our ability to shine is itself the reward? I am reminded of the ancient practice of bread baking. The baker does not resent the dough for requiring kneading. The yeast does not demand recognition for making the bread rise. The oven does not complain about the heat it must provide. Each element simply fulfills its role. And in that fulfillment, something wonderful is created. Consider this. Every breath you take is a gift, not a debt. Every sunrise is a bonus, not an obligation. Every friendship is a blessing, not a contract. When you truly understand this, gratitude replaces expectation and joy replaces entitlement. In my travels around the world, I've noticed that the happiest people are not those who have the most. They're those who expect the least and give the most. They understand that happiness is not something the world owes them. It is something they cultivate through their own choices, their own attitudes, their own actions. Imagine if the stars demanded payment for their light, if the rivers required gratitude for their flow, if the flowers expected praise for their beauty. The natural world teaches us that true giving comes without invoices attached. Your potential is like a vast ocean within you. It does not need permission to be vast. It does not wait for someone to acknowledge its depth. It simply is. Your job is not to wait for the world to recognize this potential. Your job is to dive deep into it and bring forth its treasures. Remember, the universe does not owe you a platform. It offers you a stage. It does not owe you an audience. It provides you opportunities to serve. It does not owe you success. It presents you with possibilities to create it. In this grand theater of life, you are both the performer and the performance, the artist and the art, the creator and the creation. The applause is not guaranteed, but the opportunity to perform is always present. Now, is not that a liberating thought? Let me share with you the wisdom of a mountain stream. Watch how it flows over rocks, around obstacles, through narrow passages. It never complains about the path being too difficult. It never demands an easier route. Instead, it adapts, finds new ways, and continues its journey. Sometimes it flows gently, other times it rushes with power, but it always moves forward. The stream embodies a profound truth about life. It is not about what path we're owed. It is about how we navigate the path we're given. The stream does not seek permission to flow. It simply follows its nature. I've met countless people who put their lives on hold, waiting for the perfect moment, the right circumstances, or someone's approval. They're like seeds refusing to sprout until they're guaranteed a sunny day. But nature's wisdom shows us that growth happens in all conditions, even in the darkness, even in the storm. Have you ever watched a spider weave its web? There is no guarantee of catching anything, no promise of success. Yet every morning, if its web is destroyed, it begins again. No complaints, no despair, no sense of being cheated by the world. Just pure, focused creation. Think of your mind as a garden of possibilities. The soil does not owe you flowers. It merely offers the potential for growth. Whether weeds or roses grow depends entirely on what you plant, how you tend it, and how you protect it from negative influence. I once met a woman who lost everything in a natural disaster. Instead of cursing her fate or waiting for the world to restore her losses, she said something remarkable. The universe does not owe me a rebuild. It is offering me a chance to create something new. She understood that even in loss, there is an opportunity for renewal. Consider the butterfly emerging from its chrysalis. If someone tried to help by cutting open the cocoon, they would actually prevent the butterfly from developing the strength it needs to fly. The struggle itself is essential. Your challenges aren't burdens unfairly placed upon you. They're opportunities to develop your wings. What if everything in your life right now is not a debt unpaid, but a gift waiting to be unwrapped? What if every challenge is not an unfair obstacle, but a carefully placed stepping stone? The birds do not wait for a guaranteed meal before they sing their morning song. The wolves do not demand assurance of success before they hunt. The salmon does not insist on an easy path upstream. Nature shows us that life is not about guarantees. It is about engagement, effort, and embracing the journey. When you stop viewing life through the lens of what you're owed, you begin to see it through the lens of what you can create. Every morning becomes not an obligation, but an invitation. Every person you meet becomes not a potential debtor, but a potential connection. Every challenge becomes not an unfair burden, but an opportunity for growth. Look at the way bamboo grows. For years, it seems to do nothing, building an invisible root system underground. Then suddenly it shoots up at an astonishing rate. Success often works the same way. While you're thinking nothing is happening, while you're tempting to demand quicker results, important foundations are being. Your dreams are like birds in your hands. They do not owe you flight. They offer you a possibility. You can hold them too tightly and crush them, or you can open your hands and give them the freedom to soar. The choice is always yours. The desert blooms not because it is owed rain, but because it is ready when the rain comes. It holds within itself everything needed for transformation, patiently waiting for the right moment. Your life can be like this too. Not demanding that opportunities arrive, but being fully prepared when they do. In closing, remember, the world owes you nothing, but it offers you everything. Every sunrise is an invitation to begin again. Every breath is an opportunity to choose differently. Every moment is a chance to release the weight of entitlement and embrace the lightness of possibility. Your life is not a debt to be collected, but a gift to be opened again and again with wonder and gratitude. The power was never in what you were owed. It was always in what you were willing to create. Step forward now unburdened by expectation, unfettered by demands, ready to receive not what you're owed, but what you're ready to create. Because in this vast universe of infinite possibilities, you are not a creditor waiting to be paid. You are a creator waiting to be expressed. And that, my friends, is the most liberating truth of all. Consider the resilience of a dandelion pushing through a crack in the concrete. It does not petition the sidewalk for space, does not file a complaint about unfair growing conditions. It simply channels its life force upward. That is the spirit we're called to embody. Picture a master violinist practicing alone in an empty room. No audience, no applause, no recognition. Yet the music flows with the same passion, the same precision, the same devotion as if playing in a grand concert hall. Why? Because mastery is not about what others owe us. It is about honoring the gift within. I have observed honeybees at work, their tireless dedication to their purpose. They do not strike for better nectar conditions or demand recognition for pollinating the world's food supply. Their fulfillment comes from the work itself, from being true to their nature. Think about the pearl hidden within an oyster. It does not bemoan its obscurity or demand to be discovered. It simply transforms irritation into beauty, pressure into precious value. Your challenges can undergo the same alchemical transformation when you stop seeing them as unfair burdens. The changing seasons carry profound wisdom. Autumn does not negotiate with trees to release their leaves. Winter does not apologize for its cold. Spring does not demand credit for its renewal. Each season simply expresses its nature fully, contributing to the grand cycle of life. Let me share something about rainbows. They appear not because we deserve them, but because the precise conditions align. We can't demand them, we cannot schedule them, we can't control them. But we can be present, aware, and grateful when they grace our sky. Life's most beautiful moments often work the same way. Your heartbeat. Have you ever really thought about its faithful service? It does not demand overtime pay for working nights. It does not take vacations or sick days. It simply keeps its rhythm, sustaining your life without recognition or reward. That is the kind of dedication we're capable of bringing to our chosen path. Consider how a galaxy spirals through space, billions of stars moving in perfect harmony. No star demands to be the center, no planet claims superiority. Each plays its part in an infinite dance, contributing to something far greater than itself. The mightiest redwood forest began with trees that did not demand perfect soil. They grew where they were planted, reaching upward through centuries, creating their own ecosystem of possibility. Your life can take root with the same patient power. I want you to imagine yourself as a lighthouse. Your job is not to chase boats or demand they follow your guidance. Your job is simply to shine consistently, powerfully, through calm and storm alike. The boats that need your light will find their way. When you release the world from owing you anything, you'll find yourself lighter, freer, more capable of soaring to heights you never imagined. Like an eagle riding thermal currents, you'll discover that the air beneath your wings was always there. You just needed to trust it. Every challenge that feels like a debt unpaid is actually a door unopened. Every disappointment that tastes like bitter rejection can become the compost that nourishes future growth. Every moment that seems to withhold what you deserve is actually offering you something far more valuable, the opportunity to become who you truly are. Go forth, now unburdened by the weight of expected debts, unleashed from the chains of entitlement. Your power was never in what you were owed. It was always in what you were capable of becoming. The universe is not your debtor. It is your co-creator, waiting for you to realize that everything you need is already within you. And in this realization lies the ultimate freedom. The freedom to create, to grow, to become, not because anyone owes it to you, but because that is who you truly are.